Joining us today on 91.9 WCAL, California, Pennsylvania, Power 92, Cal U's Best Music. It's myself, DJ Rude Boy Russ, and Mike 2 on.
Hey, what's up? This is Ryan McGrew, Russ's brother. Super excited to be here.
Wait, that was Mike 2.
Hey,
Mike 3.
Hey, what's up? This is Ryan McGrew, Russ's brother. Super excited to be here, and super excited for our guest, Keith, here.
Okay, what's going on? If you're not aware, we have Keith Ritchie Richards, the bass player of the Bruisers, on the line right now. Keith, how you doing this morning?
Excellent, buddy. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Had a couple technical issues there, but we're all squared away. And for those that don't know, Keith, like I said, he's the bass player for the Bruisers. The Bruisers, who are the Bruisers, Keith?
Bruisers are an American street punk band from Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Okay. Now, I hear that the Bruisers have a new album that just came out this month. Is that correct?
It's a new old record. We remixed and remastered an album that came out in 1995 called Up in Flames.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I have some of that stuff ready to play today. And I'm going to play that shortly after we talk. Now, the main reason for our discussion is I got the opportunity to speak with you a few days ago. You are a recovering alcoholic, is that correct?
I am. That is correct.
And,
I'm pushing 14 months right now.
Well, congratulations, man.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm also in recovery myself. I'm coming up on 3 years in May. And
yeah.
Word. And I love punk music myself, and I'm a musician. And I found it interesting, and and I wanted to ask you some questions. But first and foremost, what is Oi? What's Oi music?
Oi music.
I mean, I know what it is. I just know it.
Yeah, it's well, for the masses, it's punk rock with more of the working class lyric content, and take no poop attitude.
There you go. Yeah. I just told Ritchie that you can't swear, so he was looking for the words there. Hello.
Hello.
All right, we're still there. All right. When did the Bruisers start?
The Bruisers started in Portsmouth, New Hampshire in 1988. I would even go to say they were forming around 87 or so.
Okay.
It was Al Barr, Jeff Morris, Scotty Davies, and Roger Shosa.
Okay, now Al Barr, he's the singer for Dropkick Murphys.
Yes, he is.
Now, what was it like playing with him? What is it like playing with him currently, rather? It's
great. I mean, Al's a consummate professional musician, and it's I don't know, man. It's just like being in a band with a brother.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah. Getting to the main issue here. When did you take your first drink?
Oh my! I took my first drink in 1976.
Really?
Yep. I was 6 years old, and it changed my entire outlook on life.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you say it kind of like you were pretty much off to the races at that point, weren't you?
I was, yeah. It was, nobody says that they want to be an alcoholic when they grow up. Nobody says that they want to be a drug addict when they grow up. But when I took that first drink, I knew that alcohol was going to be a major player in my life.
Yeah.
Because there was, at that point, there was no, the negative consequences hadn't started happening yet.
Right. You haven't had the consequences. I mean, it was great at first, right? I mean,
Oh, it was beautiful.
It was like the solution to all the problems, all those. I mean, at 6, like me, like I started in my adolescent years, and I felt that it kind of took away all those fears and insecurities, all that, just like feeling less than, feeling like a loser through high school. You know what I mean? And kind of just it just erased all that, and I found my crutch. You know what I mean? It was like my fuel. And my identity formed around that, and
exactly. Yep.
Now, how did being an active alcoholic affect your performance as a musician, like your musical performance in general?
It didn't start affecting my musical performing until a few years ago.
Really?
I had always somehow maintained enough clarity to be able to play.
Yeah.
But it was the stuff that was happening off stage that was the issue.
Yes.
Like I could play 45 minutes, an hour and a half every night after drinking a couple of cases of beer and, doing drugs and all that stuff. But it was the things that led up to it and the things that happened afterwards that were detrimental to my being in bands.
Now that kind of leads me to my next question here. How did your active alcoholism affect your relationships with the other members of the bands?
Oh, it was terrible. It was, I was that guy that, like, oh, he's a good player, but, you kind of don't want him around.
Yeah.
Right. It was, alcohol made almost every decision I've ever made in my life.
Mm-hmm. It dictated.
It dictated everything that I did. Like, I had zero control over anything. So, like, friendships that I had formed were very stressed as a result,
Yeah. Right. I mean, the ones that were still there, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people stuck by me through a lot of stuff, but even flowers have to die sometime, so I just said that over there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
People just have enough at some point and say, like, we're going to move on, and that's it, I was asked to leave the Bruisers in 96 or 97 because of that, I mean, I'd come back a year later when we had written and recorded our final record, Molotov. But it was, again, it came with, when they asked me to come back, it came with some demands, like I get to drink however much I want, whenever I want. It was those kind of decisions that ultimately led to, like everybody else making a decision that they got to clean their act up and be able to move on and succeed in music, and punk rock to me at the time was, it was all about, like, hey, I'm not going to do what you tell me to do, so I'm going to continue to drink.
Exactly, yeah, and I'm going to get to that right there, the whole punk rock ideology that's kind of, associated with all this. But you mentioned that, well, first I want to say, about how the band kind of had to be done with you and say, and that's kind of how it was for me, and that's kind of how it has to be, is where, like, my family and friends kind of had to be done with me, like they couldn't keep enabling me, and by enabling I don't necessarily mean giving me a place to stay or saying here's $20, like just being, they had to emotionally be done, kind of cut me off and say, look, dude, like we love you, but we just can't do anything for you. We can't have you around. We can't, this and that. That's, things like that is what led up to me eventually, finally getting done. But you mentioned that they had to hire a chaperone for you.
There
at one point.
were several periods in the band's history where it was like they needed people to keep an eye out for me. Yeah, essentially chaperones, and and it was looking back, I'm sure it was difficult for those people because it was like you're just hanging around to keep me from doing something stupid. Nobody ever said, hey, like, just, why don't you not drink? They just said, don't do anything stupid. Holy crap, snow here.
Sorry, I was hooking up the other mic. Yeah, and it's kind of, whenever we're under the influence, there's really, don't do anything stupid. You can say, but that never ends up working that way.
No, it never worked out well at all.
No. I mean, so what made you want to get sober?
What made me want to get sober was I was sick of waking up every day. Like you hear a lot of people say they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was just sick and tired of having to do the same thing every day just to survive.
Right.
I was 44 years old. I was at a dead end job. I was drinking in an alleyway all the time. I was getting sent home from work. And then, it was more of I had become really, I had a lot of suicidal thoughts. It was just over for me. Like you can tell when something's over.
Yeah.
And I didn't, as much as I didn't want it to be over, I knew it had to be over.
Right.
And it was, I took my last drink and I made the mental decision. It was like, this is it. It has to be done.
Well,
and that was it.
And like I said, it kind of has to get bad enough. Like have you tried before, like made attempts to get sober? Just kind of. Oh
yeah, I had made so many attempts previously, but it was all from outside factors. My wife wanted me to quit drinking.
Yeah.
I was getting in trouble with the law a lot, and
you wanted the consequences to stop, but
I wanted the consequences to stop, but I didn't want the drinking to stop.
Exactly right. So I mean, technically, if I could drink and not have any consequences, I probably would. You know what I mean? But
oh man, I'll tell you what. If I wasn't an alcoholic, I'd be chugging whiskey all day.
Yeah, and I could totally relate. And unfortunately, that's just that's part of long-term sobriety is being able to accept that, accept the powerlessness of the disease of alcoholism. And
powerlessness. There's no going out for one, man. Absolutely. There's no going out and saying, I'm just going to have a couple drinks and then go home and watch, whatever on TV. It was all or nothing.
Yeah. Now, so you have about 14 months sobriety. Now, how do you feel today, like in general, like as opposed to, like what's it like briefly? Just you don't have to give me your lead or anything, but what's it like today?
It's amazing, man. I mean, I don't like using a lot of slogans, but in this situation, I lead a life that's second to none. I mean, I don't have $1 million. I still have to work every day, but it's, I wake up in the morning and I feel good. I feel good about myself inside. I know that my bills are going to be paid. I know that I'm going to be able to go to work, and they're going to actually say, "Hey, do you want to stay?"
Yeah.
You know,
right.
You know, it's a lot of freedoms that I didn't have. You know, like when I drank, I couldn't go anywhere that there wasn't alcohol. You know, when I drank, I was a slave to that bottle, and whatever happened, like I couldn't go to a family function. You know, and if I did, it was, you know, things got awkward really quick. You know, but today it's great, man. I mean, you know, there's a bunch of snow on the ground right now, and I'm not freaking out.
You know, it's, I mean, I would never have thought in 1,000 years that I'd be in a radio booth, you know, at college, you know, sober, talking to the bass player of the Bruisers about sobriety, you know, and just that, right, you know, and then you being grateful for just waking up and seen snow on the ground, you know, like life is so freaking good today, you know. Now, personally, being a recovering alcoholic myself with almost 3 years, I feel that punk rock at its core is about rebellion, you know. But, you know, people get preoccupied with this idea of rebelling or trying to rebel or pretending to rebel against a system that's not going to change, or making these aggressive, non-educated assumptions towards this faction or that political party or the police or yada yada. However, being a recovering alcoholic, I found that it's more practical to rebel against myself and my own selfish, self-centered nature, my own character flaws or character defects, as they say, and try to make a difference within myself and change myself and realize that it's not all about me, so that maybe I can make a difference somewhere else. Maybe make a difference, you know. Otherwise, I'm just a poser. So, yeah, that, my friend, is punk rock. That's how I feel.
That sums it up pretty well, man. I mean, you know, being able to come back into the punk rock scene after, you know, getting sober and being welcomed back, and knowing that, you know, my punk rock ideology was, you know, to hell with everything. It's all, you know, again, it's all about me. It's my self-centeredness, and, you know, up the punks, down with the system, and now it's, you know, working on myself like I have, being able to be honest with myself and see, like, I got a lot of problems, man, you know, that I've had to deal with. I've had to get honest with myself and look at myself. And you know, now it's like punk rock to me is just, you know, living my life, you know, like the way that I want to, with the freedoms that I'm allowed because of sobriety, because of being in recovery.
Yes, and I see this more and more. It's just like, it's this new collective consciousness that's around. I see it. I was creeping on your Facebook page, and I was going on some of the people that like that post regarding this interview, and I someone had a picture on there, and it was an African girl, and she was sitting down, curled up in a ball, and it said, like, the new revolution is loving yourself. You know what I mean? Because that's what this is, like, that's the ultimate form of a revolution today, is actually loving yourself, you know? So, like, you know, and that doesn't necessarily pertain to recovery, but carrying it over to that is, you know, being alcoholics. Like, the hardest thing that we ever have to do is to get sober, and to go against that, and to actually, you know, look at ourselves, which is incredibly hard to do. I still, you know, have a terrible time looking at myself, and And that's punk, man. And that's what, and this stigma about, like you said, that Sid Vicious thing, it just doesn't work anymore. It's not progress. It's not productive. It's not anything. It really serves no purpose. It's kind of like there's this, like these young impressionable minds, are just kind of, eating all this up, and it's just kind of creating this mass of tool bags who think that they're, rebelling against something. And, I'm not going to go off onto a sideways tangent, but now, do you plan on writing your own music, kind of sharing your own personal experiences, stuff like that?
I do, but it's nothing that I'm rushing into.
Right.
Like I started writing a book. I started writing a book almost immediately out of getting out of rehab, and thinking that, the freshness of it would kind of help me out a little bit. But then I put it on hold for a little while just to get some mental clarity.
Yeah.
Good. So I'm kind of doing the same with the music thing.
That's, what, I'm really happy to hear that, because, that's exactly what needs to take place is that change, the kind of denying yourself of those things. I myself didn't even pick up my guitar for a year. I was directed to do that, and I didn't want to do it, but I did, and even to this day, I still haven't gotten to a place where I can, my identity, my sober identity hasn't completely formed yet. So I'm still trying to figure out who I am. So how can I write music about, something? Yeah. I can't force anything like that. That's something sacred, and hopefully someday, I'll get there. But I'm really happy to hear that that you're doing those things. And now, straight edge. For me, like being straight edge, one refrains from drugs and alcohol for the reasons of promoting a healthy lifestyle. And like as Earth Crisis puts it, the key to self-liberation is abstinence from the destructive escapism of intoxication. Now, that said, I didn't get sober because I wanted to embrace and implement a new philosophy into my life. I got sober because if I didn't, I was going to die. Yes.
Yep. Total difference. I mean, I love the straight edge ideology.
Right.
I love the music, which is a huge difference for me. And it's straight edge to me was always like these are people who never drank, they've never done drugs, they've never gotten to the point of desperation where it's like they feel like they're going to die. And as opposed to recovery, where it's like I'm just trying to live in a world that I wasn't really born into, man. Like everywhere I look, it's drink this or do this or there's so much like weed culture and booze culture out there, but straight edge to me, like straight edge music to me is like Minor Threat and stuff like that. I absolutely love those bands.
Totally.
And I agree with their ideology, but it was never for me. I would go to shows, drunk as a skunk, put X's on my hands because I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And stand around and smoke cigarettes all day, and so like, as much as I agree with their philosophy, I guess there's a huge difference in straight edge and recovery. Like as a recovering alcoholic, I choose not to drink, not because I want a healthy lifestyle, but because I want to live. Like if I pick up a drink, it's, it may not happen tomorrow, it may not happen next week, but eventually I'll be dead, and, it's just, it's like that for me.
You know what? Hey, how you doing? You got the janitor coming in. It's a big party in here now. Keith, man, dude, that was like I'm so stoked right now. I can't even like put myself together. And I can hear myself in a 7-second delay too. I'm gonna edit that. I'm gonna edit that out whenever I post it on YouTube. Don't worry. All right. So it's 6:37. I know you got to start work at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I actually got to start driving here in a couple minutes.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up then. Now, hey, I'm gonna fade into a Bruisers song off your new album here.
Perfect.
But I have a couple on there. Do you have any? Give me a song that you. What's your favorite song on that record? And I'll play it here.
All Messed Up. The first track.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cue that up here. Keith Ritchie Richards from the Bruisers, Boston Oi punk, one of the forerunners of American Oi. And, you know, that paved the way for bands like Dropkick Murphys and Rancid. You know, kind of like the pioneers of this whole movement here. And it's a big deal. It's a big deal having you on, Keith. I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate it. I thank you so much. And, you know, I'll talk to you later, man. Have a good day at work.
All right, you guys have a great day out in California, Pennsylvania, wherever you're all at, and keep it on the top side.
Right on. I'll catch you on the rebound. Keith Richards from New Hampshire, talking about sobriety and the Bruisers and punk rock. And this is All Messed Up by the Bruisers. We're going to go right into that. Have a good day, Keith.
All right, take it easy, buddy. Thanks.
Peace.